So Loren, let's get started. Let's talk a little bit about how you arrived at Clarkspoon.
I've been in the fishing industry for about 7-8 years now. I've always been an avid fisherman, grew up fishing. I had the opportunity to work for a lure manufacturer in Wilmington, which is Fathom Offshore. Opportunity came up for me to move to Moorhead and join a great group of people here at Clarkspoon and have access to some of the great minds that have developed the fishing industry as we know it today. So that was an opportunity I could not pass up. So I've been here at Clarkspoon for, I think in the next week, it will be 1 year exactly. So that is kind of how I got here. I grew up going to the beach, did a lot of Spanish fishing, used a lot of Clarkspoons. So it's kind of come full circle.
Well, let's talk about, what you guys are excited about, some of your new products, and then we'll get into the techniques and that type of thing.
Okay. Well, just a quick side note for those of you that probably may not be familiar with Clarkspoon. It is a company that has been around since 1927. James E. Clark started it. He was a machinist by trade in St. Petersburg, Florida. Him and his family used to make spoons, sell them, and in '99 it was purchased from the Clark family and moved to Moorhead, where it is now. In '99 they had 16 products, and today we have over 200 and counting. So we are trying to continuously raise the bar and bring out new products for everybody to try out. So, with that, we can roll into some of these new products we have. Is your original Clarkspoon. This is what we call a legacy product. The most popular sizes are a double aught, an aught, and a number one. This one here that I'm holding is a number one, just for sizeability. Most of you guys that do fishing, guys and gals that do fishing, you have a little bit of line twist in a Clarkspoon. So we have tried to eliminate a lot of that line twist. So what we have done is we have put a ball bearing swivel on to help reduce that line twist on both ends, with your swivel here and the swivel on the other end of the line. So these do work great. They do reduce a lot of line twist, but it just wouldn't be an original Clarkspoon without the line twist. It's just part of it. And everybody that's fished it knows it. So these are new. We have them in sizes aught, which is the smallest, which is the 2-inch blade. Double aught, 2-inch blade, aught, 2.5. And this is a 1, which is a 3. And this here is probably, those are the 3 most popular sizes. We do make these larger. They do not come with the ball bearing swivel at this time. David was with us, fished with us over the weekend, and we pulled a larger one, and I think we had a couple blackfin on it. This is one of the larger spoons that we do make at the time. It is a number 5, and this is a 5-inch blade. We also have several other things to talk about, and one which I'm pretty excited about. And I'm just going to jump right into it because it's probably one of the coolest things we've got going right now for you guys and gals. So this right here is a Clarkson Trolling Kit, and this kit has everything in it that you will need to go out and go fishing without having to buy everything individually. 4 leader wheels in it, and on these leader wheels are 2 of David's favorites, some gold spoons. We have a aught and a double aught, so you guys can see it. We have 2 more leader wheels, and we have silver aught and double aught. It also comes with a how to fish a Clarkspoon booklet, and this booklet here is a really good read. It also explains a lot about planers. It is available on the website, so you can go and download it. Up at the top of the banner, there it says home, and if you click on that, it will take you. You can click on the how to fish Clarkspoons. I would recommend reading it, downloading it. It's got a lot of great information in it. I refer to it quite often. So we also have planers in this kit. It comes with 2 number 1 planers. It also comes with some ball bearing trolling lights. And I put a little piece of light on there so you guys can see. These are some excellent ball bearing swivels here. Reduce a lot of line twist. They're excellent. And he also threw in a couple of favorites. Everybody likes to fish a pink Clarkspoon. You also have a chartreuse. Those are very popular. This kit here is everything you'll need to go out and fish for a day. Like I said, this booklet will tell you how to do it. If you don't know, or you have questions, or you doubt on what you're doing, this little booklet here is worth its weight in gold. One thing that's not in this kit that David and I were talking about not long ago was a bird. A lot of guys use birds. A lot of guys don't use birds. We typically like to use a bird. So a Clarkspoon legacy product here is a seabird. And this is just a painted foam colored bird that's been around for a while. Most of you guys have probably seen these in the tackle stores, but we decided we wanted to beef it up a little bit, make it a little different, make it a little more exciting. So we came up with an epoxy bird. So this bird here is a poured resin epoxy bird, and it is rigged on 480-pound cable, and it has a 120-pound snap swivel on the back. And this is a really cool way to fish. I think we will touch on how to fish that here shortly when we talk about spread. These are really cool. I'm gonna turn my lamp off here for a second. These are UV enhanced along with a lot of the other products we have. So on a sunny day, it glows in the water, and even on a cloudy day, when you have some UV light, this thing lights up. I don't know. I can see it lighting up. I hope you guys can get a good look of it. This is a clear one. The UV in it kind of makes it look purple.
Shine the light, hold the light down and shine it up on it from the light being below it.
Below it?
Yeah. Well, it's still pretty, yeah.
It's probably going to be hard to see. But
you get a pretty decent idea of it. I can see it.
Yeah. Cool. So they come in different colors. We've got clear. We've got a chartreuse one. Turn the light back on. We got a blue. And we've got a pink. And these products are really new. They're only available through us at this time. We're kind of testing these out to see what the market will allow on them and to see how interested people are in them.
So they are available on your website.
They currently are available on the website. When we get enough interest generated in them, then hopefully we will roll them out to the tackle stores, local tackle stores. Great to fish. They're great to fish for Spanish mackerel, blues, fat alberts, or bonito. They also work really well offshore if you're fishing for blackfin or even some dolphin. That's why we beefed them up so they would be more durable. I've used the pink one several times last year, and they produced really well. So it's a cool product, kind of going away from the traditional into something a little new, which is pretty cool. It's a must-have on the boat. You need to have one. I would highly recommend having some sort of bird on the boat. Just super exciting to have, especially when you're watching it and it gets hit. It's cool. We've also, in talking about UV additives, we've come up with a few small lures that are castable, and they are also trollable. This is one that's unrigged. This is what we call a Clark dart, and that's exactly what it does. It is a straight runner when you're trolling it and casting it. If you do cast it, you can give it as much action as you want. We have one that is a Clark dart scoop. I'll see if I can. You guys can you see the scoop on there?
Yep.
So this one's pretty cool because when you do troll this one, it will dive subsurface. It will come up because of the scoop, and it will kind of spit water. It's kind of like a very small version of a blue water trolling. These also work really good offshore and for Spanish and blues. Here's one that is rigged. Here's a blue one that is rigged. They are rigged on 4 foot of 40-pound nylon cable. All the connections are crimped and it has a single hook in the back. And on that hook, it is a dressed hook, and it comes with some mylar tinsel on the back, gives it that extra flash. They're pretty fun to fish. They're pretty fun to use with sight casting when you find a school in Spanish. And they come in several colors. They come in chartreuse, pink and clear, pink, and the blue.
Only available on the website as well?
No, some dealers do have these in their stores. I can't tell you off the top of my head who has them and who doesn't at the moment, but these are available in some tackle shops.
Okay.
What weights do they come in, or are they all one size?
They are all one size, and rigged, they are, here, I got my scale in here. I believe they're about, they're a little under an ounce.
Gotcha, thanks.
Yeah, no problem. So the next item we have, this was something that is a scaled down version of what a lot of guys have been doing offshore for a long time. And it works excellent. And I'll try to hold it back so you guys can see it. This is a Clark spreader bar here. This thing right here, we could not make them fast enough last year. It was crazy how fast they were flying off the shelf. This bar here is also rigged on 40-pound nylon coated wire. It is all crimped. There is a 120-pound snap swivel in the last squid. Now, it comes with a spoon on 30-pound mono that is 4 foot in length. This is a slaying machine right here. You can switch it up, and it's pretty cool to put one of those darts or those scoops on the back. There have been some guys that have gotten a little swirly, and they have put some heavier casting jigs on the back, and they've had success with that. I don't think you can go wrong with whatever you put on the back. Gold spoon with some pink flash tape. I don't think it matters. The action itself across the surface of the water, mimicking bait fish. The last one in line is going to be the one that gets eaten, the slow guy. So this is really cool to fish. It gives you something to look at, especially if you have some young anglers on the boat that get bored easily. This is something cool. Skips across the top of the water, give them something to look at, give them something to concentrate on. They'll be able to see the bite. But it's been a very, very, very productive lure. I was talking to a guy, charter guy, on Saturday on the dock, and he said that it's one of his favorite things to put out for his clients, just because of that reason. It gives them something to look at when everything else is under the water and they're just waiting. So it's a pretty cool design. It comes in several different colors. We've got the pink. We've got a blue, and this is a newer blue. We had a darker blue. We kind of like this blue better, so we want the lighter blue. We've got a chartreuse here. We've got a clear glass menace here. This one's been really popular. And we have one that is more of a natural looking, some people call it sand eel, some people call it natural looking squid, but it is more, it's a little darker. I like this one the best. That's just my personal opinion. These are available probably in most of your tackle stores. Shouldn't have any problem finding these unless they're sold out. Sometimes that's a good chance. Let's see, what else do we have to talk about? So that basically covers some of the new products that we have now. We do have a new product coming out. It is not here yet. Several people know about it and have been testing it out. And it is a castable spoon. And it will probably come in the double alt, the alt, and possibly the one. Currently, we have what is called a Clarkcaster, and basically it's got a blade on it, a lead weight. It's got a snap swivel on there. And you just attach it to your spoon, and you can use it for casting, sight casting. But what we're going to do is we're going to add the weight onto the spoon. So that will eventually be replaced with a weight. So we can eliminate this. So far, the guys that have been testing it out here in Moorhead love it. It seems to be a product that they want to get their hands on. That can also be used in the trolling scenario. And on a calm day, it will eliminate having to use a planer or even a trolling thing. So kind of doubles up. And really excited about getting that in and getting it out to everybody and seeing how it does. But so far, it's been pretty awesome. I've gotten the opportunity to use them and sight casting toward the end of the year, last year before the Spanish left, and it was a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to doing it again. So that does cover all of the new products that we have. So David, you want to roll into some trolling scenarios, or?
Yes, sir. Let's do that. Let's
Okay.
let's do a couple layouts and talk about what you would use where and that type of thing.
Okay.
I think most guys, may pull 2 or 3 lines at a time, but let's talk about how many you like to pull.
Okay. Well, there's nothing wrong with pulling 2 or 3, depending on how many people you have on the boat. Of course, you get to a school of Spanish, blues, whatever, and 4 or 5 lines go off, and you've only got 2 sets of hands. That can be an absolute nightmare. Generally, when we're on the boat, we like to pull 4 to 5 lines, provided you have enough hands. Basically, off the back of the boat, we will put our planers, whether they be number 1 or number 2 planers, depending on the depth. And we can talk about planer depth here in just a second. So off the back of the boat, we'll pull planers. We'll pull one about 50 or 60 foot, maybe off the back, maybe one a little bit further out. So you can use whatever spoon you want, a gold spoon, a silver spoon, pink spoon, green spoon, whichever you want on there. Usually on what I would consider your longer lines further back, we would go with trolling sinkers on those, with whatever color spoon you want. I would recommend on those spoons to put a variety of different colors out. That way you can dial in what they're after that day. Some days, silver spoon with pink flash tape is the hot ticket, and the next day it may be green. So I always recommend putting a few different options out there for them and let them check out the buffet and see what they're after. Definitely put a gold spoon out there and definitely put a silver one out there, but there are plenty of options. We do have some other products here. These are coated painted spoons, pink chartreuse, and this one here is a silver spoon, but it's a hammered spoon, looks like scales on there. We have a lot of different painted spoons. They're all online. You can check out all the colors. And now once we get back we're gonna go back to the bird here. And if you are able to, I would definitely pull this on the center, on the shotgun, far back. And it can never be too far back, in my opinion. Keep it within sight. You can pull. David's laughing. So that would be the pancake move to send it back real far. So you control a traditional spoon on the back of this if you want to. A really cool thing to do is to use one of these darts or scoops. They work really well. But this is definitely something you need in your arsenal. It works very, very well on your long line there, or your shotgun all the way back. You can pull it. You don't have to pull it on the shotgun. You can pull it on one of your long lines on your starboard or port side. I prefer it straight down the middle. Another thing you can do on your long lines on the side, which work really well, and you need a little bit of angle on this for it to work the best, is to pull one of these spreader bars. You can pull it down the center, but I wouldn't put it too far back. It works well. Just get it out of the prop wash off the back and a little bit of that clear water, and it will produce for you. I promise.
How much is that?
$20.
20? Okay.
$20. Yeah. So if we want to talk about, which I guess we're talking about little trolling scenarios, we can talk about planers now versus trolling sinkers. A lot of times the fish aren't always feeding on top. You know, they're feeding down in the water column. You've got two options. You've got a trolling sinker, which will get you down pretty far, but not as far as a planer. And a lot of that will have to do with speed. The trolling speed needs to be between 4 and 6 knots. I would start out more in the 4 knot and bump it up. If you are going too fast, you're going to pick up more bluefish than you are Spanish. So you'll need to dial it back a little bit. The faster you go with anything in the water, the speed, it's going to want to pull it up. This booklet here, once again, explains the pros and the cons of speed versus the downforce on the planer and the trolling sinkers. It also explains the scope of line you put out. So for example, let me see, I'm going to use 50 foot. So this is just an example. This is, don't take this to heart. At 50 foot of line, you should be down to about, we're just going to do 50 and 50 to make it easy. 50 foot of line, 50 foot depth. So if you think you drop it another 50 foot, you would think you would be to 100, but that's not true. You would need more line to get there. I don't know why you would want to be that deep anyway. It was just an easy number for me to choose. But and this booklet explains it very, very well. It and like I said, I would definitely read this. It'll explain it better than I can, honestly. But with planers, we have 5 different size planers, but for your Spanish fishing and fishing off the beach without heading to deeper water, you're most likely going to use a number 1 and a number 2 planer. Most likely a number 1 is going to be the one you go to every time. A number 1 planer is going to get you anywhere from 5 to 12 foot of depth. A number 2 planer is going to get you from 10 to 20 foot of depth. Most rods that everyone has right now for trolling with planers, you know, you can use 20 to 40 pound mono with those, either one of those planers, the 1s or 2s, and be fine. But once you jump up to the 3s, the 4s, and the 5s, you're going to definitely need to up your line just with the downforce and the pressure on it. But that's kind of another scenario, and would be more heading toward the blue water, fishing for meat fish. So that's probably another discussion. On planers, you know, you want to kind of have them at a 45-degree angle off the back of the boat. And a planer does max out at a certain point. It's not going to keep diving. When you've got the force pushing down on that blade speed, it will eventually start to rise. So try to keep it at a 45-degree angle. That's going to get you to your maximum depth. If you don't need to be at your maximum depth, you just bring in some more line. Occasionally you will bump bottom, reel it in a little bit, keep going. Especially if you're out, you know, over by Shark Island, a lot of shoaling under there, you got deep water, then it jumps up. So a lot of times the planer will trip. You have to keep an eye on it, and because it will reset. All of these planers that Clarkspoon has are easy to set. You just deploy them in the water, unset, and pay it out, and all you got to do is pull your rod back, snap it forward, it'll set itself, and you're right on down. So you don't need to, if it does get tripped and you don't have anything on the line that you can see, you can set it in the water without having to bring it in and set it back out again. So that's a pretty cool aspect of those. I'm 100% sure everybody's kind of going that way, but there are some older planers that people might have that are not easily set.
Just as a note in that spread, you know, obviously going to set it at everything at a different length behind the boat, but once you get to catching fish, you can take those little rubber bands and mark the line, because you can easily roll that rubber band up on the reel.
Yep.
And that way you're especially with the for folks that haven't fished that much with a planer, it certainly helps you in understanding where you're, you know, the length that were set at that you caught a fish. So just figure out a way for you. Some people mark it with a magic marker, some people, you know, whatever, but I choose just to tie one of those little bitty rubber bands around it and leave it on there and then adjust it as I need to. I haven't fished with the spreader bar. I'm looking forward to that. I can afford a couple of those at $20.
You know, yeah.
Yeah. So, and then as birds, haven't fished with a bird that much either, not inshore, but certainly looking forward to that. But I think most of the time when we're Spanish fishing, it's a north wind or a northeast wind, or it's something where you can't get out, or you know, the beach is calm and you're fishing right along the beach. I know that everybody talks about going over out in front of Shackelford and Shark Island in Spanish fishing. I've had just as much luck from the circle there at Atlantic Beach and further west, you know, through that whole area, really all the way down through Emerald Isle. You just have to figure out where they are and look for birds and other things going on in the water, and you won't have any problem because the boats will certainly congregate once a few people start catching fish, and you just ease on down there and you'll get in the mix, and just be respectful of each other. Everybody takes a turn. And if you see the fish on top of the water, don't run through the middle of them. Work the edges, circle them. You're gonna have a lot more luck yourself, and you're gonna keep everybody else having luck too without forcing them down. Any other tips like that, Loren?
One thing I would suggest, and marking your line, that is excellent. I don't know if any of you guys troll with braid, but if you do, you can buy the multicolored braid, and usually it's marked, I think, in 10-foot intervals with the different color changes, with the blue, white, dark blue, whatever, rainbow. That does help too. Always have some spinning rods on the boat. It's always fun to do, and sometimes it turns into a day of sight casting. Always have them on the boat. Always have some casting jigs. One of my favorites. I usually go with 1.5 ounce. This is the minnow jig here. That is a 1.5 ounce. We call this one here is a stick jig, holographic. This one's actually my favorite. And we also have some pokey jigs or some sad jigs. This one here is actually a 2 ounce that we just got in. I think Joe was using these a couple of weeks ago in the surf, catching some reds. But
yeah, that's when we did that trip over to Shark Island. We were throwing those. We just didn't have enough of them. We broke off those, and we were just a little bit short. I know that some people are already typing in the chat some questions. Is anything else you want to cover real quick, Loren, before I go into the questions?
No, that's
the single hook on the jigs that he's talking about is the way to go for sure, instead of putting a treble on it. It's just a whole lot easier. And if you got kids on the boat, you get a less chance of getting a hook in anybody, and it's a lot easier to operate. So just keep that.
Yeah. And we do sell the stick jigs with single hook. They are online. You'll have to kind of look for them. They should be under the jig, but we sell them in green chartreuse and the silver there. We do sell a lot of them, and that's an excellent point, an excellent safety point, especially if you've got younger anglers on the boat.
So one question is, how do the shads, minnows, and the sticks differ in their swimming action?
Okay, so stick and minnow. So basically, on your shad jig, all three of these are, and I don't have the other one. I apologize, I should have grabbed it, but it's online too. All of these are meant to be lifelike representations of bait fish. So depending on how you're fishing this, There's different techniques on these pokey jigs. A lot of times if you're fishing these in the surf, you know, you're going to cast it out, you're going to let it sink, and you do want this one to kind of go down, bump on the bottom, and come back up, especially if you're trying to target those big reds. These two here these are more suited for sight casting. You can fish in the surf when the bait fish are pretty close in for Spanish, and these are meant to be fished fast and rapidly. Fast retrieve, cast it out, give it some jerks and some pulls. They're going to hit it, and it doesn't matter what color it is.
You cannot make it erratic enough, in my opinion.
Right, because those bait fish are darting and trying to go every which way they can go. So, you know, these are meant to be fished fast and rapidly and erratically. So, you know, you probably will have to adjust your speed, but you'll get, if you keep missing them, slow it down just a little bit. But you will hook up on it. I hope that answers that question. We do have another jig. It's a chrome jig, comes in different colors, and the swimming action of that one is more suited, and it is to be fished fast and rapidly, but it mimics more of a wounded bait fish with the shape. And I didn't grab one of those. I didn't think about it actually, but they're also will be under jigs, and those are the chrome jigs.
Okay. We got a comedian in the group that wants to know if you have a spoon that does not catch a lizard fish.
If you can invent that, you'll be a very wealthy man.
That's for sure. Will's barber, he uses the weighted Clark spoons. He said they're deadly.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So, and I guess the birds are under the accessories tab on your website.
That sounds about right. Yeah.
Okay. So give me your favorite location for Spanish. I'll tell you mine first. I like I said, I think from the Atlantic Beach, the circle, you know, west has been my favorite. I've also done very well in the shipping channel. Seems to be later in the day when the sun's going down. Seems to be better there for some reason. I'm not sure why, but it just does in the evening.
Yeah.
What about you?
Man, you know where I like to go. I like to go over there by the Cape, especially when you get inside the hook. You know, the water lays down a little bit sometimes, depending on the wind. I like going out there. And that's up here. I mean, back down in Wilmington, you know, it's kind of like you said. You know, they are up and down the coast, so it's not hard to find them. You know, plenty of birds, plenty of boats. You know, something's going on. But I like to go out to the Cape and catch them.
I got you. So I enjoy the Cape as well. It's just a pretty place. Can you review trolling for dolphin again with I guess I'm assuming with the bird, and how far out during the summer months? And would you recommend using two birds?
Sure. You can use two birds. You can use them on your long riggers. Just have them spread out. I guess, you know, certain times of the year, if you're able to get out, well, you don't have to go too far. Certain times of the year, you know, the smaller dolphin will come in pretty close, and you control. I mean, you can use that bird and you can put ballyhoo behind it, and I would recommend using anything. I would say 6 to 8 foot, maybe 10 at the most on that leader behind that bird. You control a larger spoon behind it. You can use, like I said, you know, I like to take things that aren't meant to be and make them to be scoops, dart scoops. And I rigged it differently, but it's rigged on fluoro. I think it's 40-pound fluoro. I rigged it up to put behind a bird. I used a double offset hook. I don't remember the size, but it's on Kevlar, and it will slide up in here, you know, and we catch dolphins on that a lot, especially when you get into the smaller schools. It's fun to do, but yeah, you can definitely run two birds. You can run three birds. You can run them on all your long lines, your long right, your long left, and straight down the middle on your shotgun.
Okay. Run the bird on your shotgun center rigger line with a skirted ballyhoo just behind it. Good advice.
Yep.
What about the bars? You use those offshore any?
Yep. No, well, no, not that far. I haven't used the small bar.
I think I think summertime pattern, if you're looking at small dolphin, you certainly can use that.
You certainly can use it. We do have some, and it's something we've been talking about. I might get killed for showing y'all this, but anyway, it's just a beefed up version of this. You know, we like to stay in our domain. I mean, it is Clarkspoon. We're not trying to be an offshore tackle manufacturer, but this is the smaller one, and we had talked about maybe stepping that up a size later on down the line, if there is interest in it. So it would not be a full 36 or 24-inch spreader bar. It would be something a lot smaller, a lot manageable, for center console boats with a larger squid on it, and of course it would be beefed up for those purposes too. But
okay.
We do have a lot of ideas.
What was the line on that? The strength of that? What did you say? At 40 pound on there?
It is 40-pound nylon coated wire with 120 pound snap swivel on the back. So it can take the pain, but it will probably won't last the season if you go dolphin fishing with it. It will get tore up, but hey, that's part of the game. So
I think on a calm day you can run those. I don't think there's enough weight to them to get too far offshore unless it's really slick calm. Then I think it would probably produce pretty well.
Yeah, it would.
Or a little chop, but if it's got any wind at all, there's not enough weight there. Even if you added a skirted ballyhoo or something behind it. I mean, I don't you know how it is. The wind gets up and you got a lot of issues. So we got just a minute or two here left. I'd like to. You got anything in closing you want to say, Loren? I mean,
no, I appreciate you guys listening to me babble for about 45 minutes. Appreciate you taking the time. I appreciate the opportunity. David, I think what you're doing is a pretty cool thing, with what's going on. Last year was challenging for everybody, and this is a great way to get people together and try to learn some stuff and get some products out there. And it's good to see that you're trying to keep up with that, and what you got going on with the Saltwater Anglers Network is pretty cool. So I just appreciate the opportunity, man.
Yeah, well, I thank you. Well, Ryan, if you don't mind, I'll ask you to unmute if you'll give me your top takeaway.
Hey, yep, I'd be happy to. And I just put on my camera. So thanks again for all the information and all that good detail. I would say, what I learned coming out of this is we've got two daughters, and one is almost 5 and one's 6. And one of our favorite things to do is to do Spanish trolling. And usually we get all bent out of shape because we get a bunch of line twist. And then you throw a dog in there and 2 girls and a wife, and you get chaos pretty quick. And so I would say using that barrel swivel to kind of eliminate that is super helpful. And, I want to look more into the Clark, that dart scoot that you could put behind the bird. I thought that was I think the profile of it is super nice. And just to mix it up a little bit. And sometimes I think we overcomplicate things. And I think the, trolling for dolphin or whatever, and even in like the 10 to 15 mile range, you're often running overfish to find fish. And I think like a small bait profile like that, gives you the opportunity to catch a bunch of different things. So sometimes you get tempted to spend the money on the Islander and spend $20 and then put value behind it. But at the end of the day, you could put, a little Clarkspoon behind it, or, that dart scoop, and to, have a different flavor of success. And then those smaller dolphin, they're going to be chicken dolphins. So maybe, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pounds. They don't have a huge mouth to begin with. Right. So you've got to be aware that, they're not going to be able, they can swallow a bigger bait, but, pulling something a little bit smaller, would make you more successful. So that's what I learned. So just to recap the barrel swivel, then, just executing a different strategy for the birds. So.
Yeah, I think one thing I learned real quick, I know folks have got to go, is just besides putting a spoon out, those different applications, those different lures that they've come up with, there certainly will give you more opportunity to catch fish with putting a different bait out there that maybe is closer to what they're feeding on, and give you a better opportunity to figure out what's going on. So Loren, I certainly really appreciate it. I've enjoyed we fished together twice now. I'm sure we'll fish together some more, and we learn a lot from each other, and we certainly do appreciate that. So thank you, and thank Christian and Emily and the folks there at Clarkspoon. We certainly do appreciate it. And
absolutely.
So real quick, last thing that I wanted to mention, we're kind of going out on a limb here, but we're going to jump on it. We're going to try during the Big Rock to have Instagram Live for about 20 to 30 minutes at the end of each day. We've got a few mates lined up to have conversations with about what's going on out there that day. And so it should be pretty interesting to get some insight into what's happening during the Big Rock. If you guys want to pass that along to some other folks, I certainly would appreciate that. There'll be some more information, and we'll have some more about that at the May the 4th event that we have coming up in Raleigh. So if these folks that are out of town, if you want to come up, we certainly love to have you. And if you got any folks that live in Wake County or the surrounding counties that want to join us, please share us with them, and you can certainly reach out to us on our Instagram page, is Saltwater Anglers Network. We certainly do enjoy it, and we got videos there as well.